Today I'm making mini chocolate ganache raspberry cups, and here are the ingredients that we need. I have 1 cup of Hershey's chocolate chips here, 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. This is 35% cream. We're going to be mixing both of these together to create our beautiful chocolate ganache. We also need another cup of chocolate chips, and I've divided half a cup here and half a cup here, and that is going to be for our chocolate shells. I'm using little silicone molds, but you can also use little paper cups. And the last thing, we need some fresh raspberries. So those are all the ingredients, so let's get started. Alright, the first step that we're going to do is we're going to melt our chocolate for our little chocolate shells. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these and I'm going to microwave it, and I'm going to fully melt the chocolate. Now I'm going to use the defrost mode on my microwave because I don't want to burn the chocolate. So I'm going to melt that and I will be back. Alright, I've just microwaved this on the defrost mode a few times, about 40 seconds in total or something around there. And if you look at it, you can see there's a nice gloss to the chocolate now. And you'd think, oh well, I need to zap it more, but you don't, because as you start turning it, you can see quickly that it's completely done. So always give your chocolate a little stir. I know because I do this quite often, but I knew that it was ready. And there we go. So that is ready. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start adding the cold chocolate chips to that mixture, and we're just going to start slowly incorporating as many as we can until no more will be dissolved in there. So I'm just going to start doing this, and I'll just keep going at this, and I'm going to slowly melt them. So you can see all those pretty much gone now. So I'll put a few more in. I'll just show you how many I have left, and we'll just try to get those incorporated as well. At this point, you don't want to heat this chocolate anymore. What I'm actually doing here is I'm doing a very, very simple way of tempering this chocolate. So we've got one portion of our chocolate that we melted. And then what I'm doing is I'm trying to temper the chocolate by adding in the original chocolate that was not heated at all, which still has all of the original chemistry and molecules in the right place that, you know, when it was shipped from the factory. So you can see at this point now, I've used all the half of the chocolate that was left. So we'll just keep going at this. If you take all of your chocolate and melt it, the only way that you're actually going to be able to keep your chocolate solid without melting in your hand is by always keeping it in the fridge. So if you make any little dessert and you don't have tempered chocolate, what will happen is you'll bring it out, and you know, even 2 minutes out of the fridge, somebody will touch the chocolate and it'll already be melting on their hands. So here we go. You can see that I've almost got everything melted here. So patience is key. There we go. And we're pretty well done. There we go. Perfect. On to the next step. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to grab one of my little silicone molds. Just going to get some chocolate in there. And then I'm just going to slowly turn it around so I cover the sides. And if you want to give it a little bit of help, just grab a spoon and just push it up the sides, just like that. we go. Make sure there's enough at the bottom. So I'm just going to put a little bit more at the bottom. There we go. And then you can just put it down and just tap it. And there we go. So that's our first one. So let's try that again. Get some chocolate in there. I'll take my little spoon and just help it up the sides. And I know what you're wondering. You're saying, but I don't have any of these silicone molds. What can I use? Well, you can use little paper molds. They work just as well. So the little paper ones are like this, and these work just as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep going at these. I'm going to fill up quite a few of them, and I'll come back when I've got all of them done. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to work on the ganache portion, and this is really simple. What you want to do is take your cup of chocolate chips and get them in the bowl. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to microwave my cream until it's hot. So I'm going to go do that, and I'll be back in a second. Alright, so I've got my hot cream here, and the only thing to do is just pour it right over your chocolate. And just let it sit there and do its magic. So we'll just let that sit for about a minute. Just like that. So I'll let that go, and I'll be back in about a minute. I just want the cream to start slowly melting the chocolate. Alright. So my chocolate's been sitting for a good minute or so with the cream. We're just going to slowly now start melting it. So we're just going to start mixing it all together. At this point you're looking and you're saying, wow, that doesn't look like it's right. But just wait. We just slowly incorporate, just slowly mix it in, and all of a sudden the magic just starts happening. Now I'll just speed this up a little bit. I'll just keep turning like this, just folding, and I'll speed the video up, and then you'll see it all coming together. So this is 1 cup of chocolate chips to 1 cup of heavy cream. So a 1-to-1 ratio. Don't try this with 10% cream like a coffee cream that you find at your grocery store. You have to get 35% cream, which is sometimes labeled as heavy cream or whipping cream. There we go. So you can see how beautiful that is now. Now if you pop this in the fridge, this will get very thick, and that's what we're going to do, because I'm going to be piping this later and I need it to be thicker than this. Right now this is very warm. Very warm. So that's it for this step. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pop this into the fridge, and I'm going to let it cool for probably 2 hours. Alright, so I've literally been beating this for about 30 seconds. You can see how thick this ganache is. I had it in the fridge for about 2 hours. I brought it out, popped the beaters in there, started whipping it, and right away got very nice and thick. So at this point, this here is ready for me to pipe. So our next step is to fill our little chocolate cups. And I'll bring those over. Alright, so here are the chocolate cups. What I want you to do is, if you find that the walls of your little chocolate cups are too thin, you can do what we did before and just do a second coating on the actual walls. So do them the first time like you saw me do them, let them dry, and then do it again on the walls just to thicken them up. And then you'll be sure that they're not going to break down on you. But I just want to show you how nice these little silicone cup things are. There we go. These are great. The other thing I wanted to explain was these never went in the fridge. And you can see they've got a nice shine to them, and you can hear how hard the chocolate is. That is because we tempered the chocolate at the beginning, where we mixed cold chocolate with the chocolate that I melted. If I had melted all of the chocolate, this would not happen like that. If I had melted the chocolate, we wouldn't have this kind of texture. And this chocolate would melt very, very quickly. These never hit the fridge. They never went in the fridge. And you can see how nice they are. I'll just show you. There we go. All right. So that's the secret of tempering. So there we go. All right, so I'll just get all of these ready. I'm going to fill my piping bag with our ganache, and I'll be back in a second. All right, I've got my chocolate ganache in my piping bag. I'm using a very large star tip, and all I want to do is just pipe that right into our hard chocolate shell. Just like that. I'm just going to keep going like this. So I'll keep going on this, and I'll be back in a second. There we go, beautiful. And our last step is to put on our fresh raspberries. So you just take them like that and just pop them right on like that. There we go. And this is one delicious dessert. You can keep these in the fridge, you can leave them out for a little while. If it's really warm in the house, you'd probably want to keep them in the fridge. And there we go. Doesn't that look great? So there you have it. My mini chocolate ganache raspberry cups. So that's it for this video. These are my mini chocolate ganache raspberry cups. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Yum.